Good afternoon. It is September 7th, 2021. And today, the way I saw this was we had this trend down early in the morning. And we had a break of that trend, 2 legs of correction, and then we made 1 leg. And this was our second leg. Maybe this was the first leg down to a new low. That attempt failed. And I think once that attempt failed, and then they tried to make a new low again and failed again. I think that's what gave this trend right here so much strength in the opposite direction. But really, I think this is just 1 leg down. And this is probably also 1 leg. So I think we're just trying to make a new low. But anyway, really easy to trade this downtrend early in the morning. You had to be patient though, because there really wasn't any clear second entry short setups except for right here. And so that really took a lot of patience. That was like a little less than an hour after the open, and then it really slowed down. But let's take a look at these marked trades. We hit this made this leg down, and so I drew this measured leg, and it looks like you get some congestion right in there, but we ended up going further than that. So let's see when 5 o'clock comes. So 5 a.m. is about right here, and prices are trending down. We make this leg down, and so if you feel like you're reading it well, and you see this first failed second entry short setup, I think you can take that. I think the key here to knowing is that it's off of this short-term trend line. And we are making lower highs and lower lows. We have been making those. And we did have 1, 2 legs up. So let's see, that could be 2 measured legs up, it looks like. Yeah, so I think those are all good reasons, to take that short. And that probably, if you were able to hold a runner through this, that's a really good move. I'd probably just scalp out and maybe take 2 points on my runner. So here we get some congestion. This is a double bottom, but the trend was looking really strong at this point, and that's why I marked this trade. This is a double bottom here, but it looks like a first, second entry short, just in the strong trend, but it's going into the lows, so that's aggressive. But it is below the EMA as well. Oh, another reason I marked that was because this is about, this all happens around, here, let's see. So 552, we're below the EMA. We didn't get a pullback until right here. So that's almost an hour that we were trading well below the EMA. So I just felt like that was a nice pullback to go short under. I didn't myself, but. And then we do go further down. And another thing is, look, these are lower highs, so, and lower lows. So, I mean, it is congested, but it just looked like it was okay to enter there. It's aggressive. We break down and make some congestion again, but again, lower highs, lower lows. So when we get this, it looks like a first, second entry, and you could even say, if you start to count here, it looks like a first, second entry short. It's an aggressive entry again, but it's just the trend was very strong and down. So when you get the true second entry, first, second entry, I think you can go short there. This one's aggressive, more aggressive than this one because, well, they're both pretty congestive. They're both pretty congestive, so you got to take that into consideration. But anyway, this is a failure. I don't know if you could. That's going into the lows, and we just had this congestion. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one. So anyway, this was an overshoot right here. So that's something to be aware of as well when taking these entries. Then we get this leg down, this steep leg down, and that makes an overshoot. This one's like not as clear of an overshoot. This one is, because it's just straight down, and that leads to a break. But we do, after this overshoot, we do get a second entry, and I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that, even though we just had the overshoot. This had the feel of a really strong downtrend. So I'm going to take that. It works, but that does end up being a channel up because of the overshoot. So I don't think you're going long at this point. But this would be your second entry long off the trend line. Eventually we get a break of this correction. And you get a first entry. And if you were watching this live, this was a hidden failure. So right after that, you get the true failure. But if you were watching this wouldn't even be marked green. This is really a red trade. But the reason I'm keeping it green is because it didn't tick higher. But this was not clearly. I don't want to say that because you really never know. But the prices were really trying to go higher here, and then they just dropped. So I think you can go short there. We just had our first break of this longer term trend channel, so I like that. This one I probably wouldn't have taken. It's too far from the EMA. Then we hit this double bottom, and really it's a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. And we start trending up again. We make one leg, it corrects. Second leg, it corrects, and I was looking at this as an important level of resistance here. So I was thinking of going short on this here, but that was just silly because I even had this trend line drawn. We're moving up. Prices are moving up. Yes, we did get 2 legs up, but this was clearly a trend channel, and I had it drawn because this swing matched up perfectly with these highs. So I don't know why I was going short here. But yeah, if you want to be aggressive, this is a good second entry. It's just aggressive because of how strong this downtrend is. And it's far from the EMA, or a little bit away from the EMA. And we trade up into this congestion. And you get a first entry, looks like a second entry here. It also looks like a failed second entry short, but you're just going into the highs, so that's why you should stay out of that. I did not stay out of that. I tried to go long there. It's going into the highs. You just don't want to do that unless this is like a runaway trend. Unless it's a runaway trend, you don't want to go into the highs or lows. I think over here, this was a very strong move down. Going short into the lows, like right here, it was way more warranted than going high into the highs here, because this is just a correction. However, we did form this congestion, and you get what looked like a counter trend break. So if you want to be aggressive, you can go long there. It's also a double test of this price level, so it did get you a scalp. Here, this looked like a trend, and this looked like a failed second entry long to me. I got trapped though going short here. So I think this is what I went short here. I think that this is what I came up with. This was congestive. We hit a measured move right here and we bounced. Because of that, I think I should have expected prices to test these highs. They didn't make it to those highs. But I think because we hit this measured move, that clearly was a level of important support, and I should have expected prices to at least test these highs. They tested the midline, so maybe that's what it was that they tested. So And then here you get a first failed second entry short. This is going into the lows too, so this is actually I would say this is aggressive. Because it's going into the lows, and we don't know, man, at this point. Especially since this looks like a break. So today I had trouble. I don't know if anyone else had trouble. Really, what I should have done was just not taking any trades after the first hour or two. So let's take a look at my trades, and we're going to start with the MES. I'd take my first trade, or I'd take my, oh wait, I gotta, hold on one second. To my live account, I had to take my one live trade for the month today, and I took it on that, this right here. So it looked like we had a breakaway downtrend or a runaway downtrend. I don't know why it's not letting me change this or the chart reader. If anyone knows why it's not letting me do that, please let me know. But so it looked like we were in a runaway downtrend, and yes, we made like a double bottom here. So when we got this first entry, second entry set up right here, I really like that. I came in like a minute or two after that, and it was, prices were coming back. And I still like this though, and I was like, this is a strong downtrend, so I'm thinking that they're at least gonna test these lows. So I entered on a limit order, and I got a really good entry, and quickly hit my targets. Unfortunately, I didn't get a runner here because that was a really good move down. But yeah, so that was my live trade. That felt pretty good. Let me pause this to go back to my simulator and the regular ES. I had a pretty rough day. Fortunately, my trade with real money worked out today, but everything else did not work out. So let's take a look. I mean, I feel like I can pretty much, I know why each of them didn't work out. So that's a good feeling. Here, like I said earlier, I had these trend lines drawn, and this bounces perfectly off that trend line. So I had the idea to go short, thinking, oh, we didn't test the EMA right here. This is not accurate thinking. So I went short here because it's a lower high from here, but we're in an uptrend. So that's a counter trend trade. Yes, we had this strong move down, but we're correcting. So I also, even before I took that trade to go short, I marked this trade. I said, this is a good aggressive trade. If you want to be aggressive, it's a second entry long in an uptrend. And I still went short here. So I just don't, I was just disappointed that I was that eager, but it's okay. All right, here, okay, yeah, I went long into the highs. This isn't a runaway trend. This entry right here, there's at least some room to the highs. So this, I think I entered above this bar too, which is just silly. Like, look at that entry. But I mean, if you enter above this bar, you still get like a 4-tick failure or something like that, maybe 3 ticks. But yeah, you're going into the highs, so it's not a good idea. Actually, I think, yeah, no, that would have failed too. So either way you looked at this, like a second entry long or a failed second entry short, it doesn't work out. But yeah, I mean, this is congestive too, and I'm entering long into the highs of congestion. So I don't like that. And it's just being eager, sitting at my screen. Okay, so this one right here, I really thought this was a great failed second entry long. And so, like I said, you know what? I think I should be looking at that as an inside bar. I actually got a good entry on this too. I came in late and entered on a limit order here, and it still didn't work. I don't know. It's tough for me to see this. Maybe Mack will offer some advice. Maybe my trend line was drawn wrong too, because I thought this was the high, and I should be drawing it like that. But maybe this is just further congestion, you know. But we'll see. It looked like a little spike in channel. So that's another thing to keep in mind. That's a first entry when it comes to the short side. So I think I need to. I think my win percentage will improve if I'm only taking second entries instead of failures. I mean, so that's what I took today. I hope everyone had a good day. I'll be back tomorrow.